Hello everyone, this is Quintickle, and in today's video I want to do a quick overview of what equations are. A lot of people seem to get them really confused, and in school they don't teach them very properly, so I'm going to go quickly over what an equation is. So an equation is basically a formula, not a formula, an expression. It's an expression that basically you have something is equal to something else, like, I don't know, y. And you know one of these variables, maybe you know x or maybe you know y, and you need to find the other one. So for example, if x plus 5 is equal to 7, then obviously x is equal to 2, obviously, because 2 plus 5 is 7. Now, the first thing that we're going to go over are the movings of signs in the other part. So there's a basic rule that says that plus is minus, minus is plus, multiplication is division, and division is multiplication. But this is just memorizing it. So basically what you do is x plus 5 equals 7, which means that x equals 7 minus 5. So you passed the 5 in the other part. But how can you actually think of this? Well, we know for a fact that if a equals b, then a plus 1 equals b plus 1. That's obvious, right? If 5 equals 5, then 6 is going to be equal to 6. So basically what you do here in x plus 5 is equal to 7, to get it to here, you basically subtract 5 from both sides, and you write it like this. And after you subtract it, this goes away with this, and the 5 comes here as minus 5. Good. So you can apply this to every single operation, and you get x minus 5 is equal to 7, then x is equal to 7 plus 5. If x multiplied by 5 is equal to 7, then x is equal to 7 divided by 5, and if x divided by 5 is equal to 7, then x is equal to 7 times 5. Now, another notion that people tend to get wrong is, what is the degree? Degree of a certain equation. And this is pretty easily defined as the highest power that any number in the equation will have. So for example, if you have x squared plus 3x plus 5 is equal to 7, I don't know, I'm just giving an example, the highest power in here is 2, because these all have the power 1, and 2 is the greatest. So we say that this is a second degree equation. Now obviously you can have as high as the degree as you want. You can have x to the 5th plus 3x to the 4th plus x to the 2nd plus 5 is equal to 9. And the highest power here will be 5, which means that it's a 5th degree equation. Now I'm going to talk about the quadratic formula, because that is also a very weird thing that they don't teach in school, or if they teach, it's not really all that properly explained, and kids tend to hate it. And I think the quadratic formula is very underappreciated. So if you give me a second, I'm quickly going to make some space. And now, the quadratic formula is actually very simple. But we're first going to talk about how to solve the second degree equation. So to solve a second degree equation, basically you have, I don't know, x squared plus 5x plus 6. And is equal to, I don't know, 0. Good. So what you could do using the rules that I described up here, you could move the 6 in the other side, and you'd have x squared plus 5x is equal to minus 6. But that wouldn't help you all that much, so we're not going to do that. Instead, what we're going to think of is, well, how can we do this so it looks more friendly, to say so? So to do that, we're just going to say that 5x is equal to 2x plus 3x. Now that's obvious, right? Like 5 is equal to 2 plus 3. So, and we're going to write it right here like that. We're going to have x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now, sorry. We're going to give the common denominator in these two, it's going to be x. And we're going to have x, and in the parentheses, we're going to have x plus 2. And in here, we're going to do the common factor is going to be 3, and we're going to have x plus 2. Sorry there, it's not a common denominator, it's a common factor. Sorry about that. And it's going to be 0. Now, here is where a lot of people get stuck, because they don't really understand what to do next. So, to make it simpler to you, I'm just going to take this and rename it as y, and this is also equal to y. So what we're left now is x multiplied by y plus 3 multiplied by y, and it's equal to 0. So we're going to take the common factor as y, and it's going to be x plus 3, because it's x multiplied by y and then 3y, and it's equal to 0. Now we're going to put that back, and it's going to be x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 3, and it's equal to 0. Now, I'm going to ask you, for a multiplication to be equal to 0, it means that either a or b are equal to 0. One of them has to be equal to 0. And it doesn't matter how much is the other one, it's going to be 0. So we're going to do the same in this case. We're going to go by cases. So case 1, it's going to be x plus 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. And since x plus 2 is equal to 0, we use the rules that I described above, and we turn the 2 in the other side, and we're going to get x is equal to minus 2. We're going to do the same thing for the second case, and we're going to have this. It's going to be x plus 3 is equal to 0, and it's going to be x is equal to minus 3. And so these are the two solutions to the equation, because if you put minus 2, it's going to be 0 multiplied to 1, and that's 0, and if you put minus 3, it's going to be minus 1 multiplied by 0, which is also 0. Now, we're going to talk a bit about what the quadratic formula is, because many people underestimate its power to say so. The quadratic formula is basically just a fancy way of saying that you're getting yourself, basically it's doing this thing that we said, finding those two numbers, 2 and 3. And to do that, it uses a very weird technique. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, the weird technique the quadratic formula uses. So the quadratic formula is pretty basic. It basically, you remember when we did x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0, and then I said that we write 5x as 2x plus 3x. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, how did you find out those numbers? Well, one trick is, well, the sum of 2 and 3 is 5, and their multiplication is 6, the second factor. But we cannot do that. So the general form of a second degree equation is ax plus ax squared plus bx plus c, and it's equal to 0. So basically what you do here is, in this case, a is 1, b is 5, and c is 6. So the quadratic formula goes as follows. Minus b plus minus, I'm going to explain what plus minus means in a second, the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything over 2a. Now, basically, plus minus, it means that there are two cases, one in which it's the plus and another case in which we use the minus. And you remember we got two different solutions for this one. We got minus 2 and minus 3. And basically, each one of those cases gives you one of the solutions. We're going to try to apply it for this, right here, this formula. So it's going to be minus 5, because in here b is 5. I'm going to rewrite the equation here so we can see it better. 5x plus 6, and it's equal to 0. So we have a is equal to 1. A is 1. B is 5. and c is 6. Good. And we're going to go for the plus for now, and it's going to be the square root of b squared, which is 5 squared, or 25, minus 4 multiplied by a is 1, we're going to ignore it because multiplying by 1 does nothing, and c, which is 6, so it's c, so times 6. Everything over 2, because a is 1 and 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. And it's equal to minus 5 plus the square root of 1, because 4 multiplied by 6 is 24, and 25 minus 24 is 1. Everything divided by 2. Now, I'm going to also add the case here for the minus, because we're going to do them both. And we're going to see that we get minus 5 plus 1 all over 2, and minus 5 minus 1 all over 2, which is equal to minus 2 and minus 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it made some things clearer for you. And for those of you wondering, yes, there is a formula for the third degree equation, but it's much more complicated and there are no reasons to use it. I might do a follow-up talking about it, but I don't think so. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you're subscribed and leave a like if you really liked it. See you in the next one.